Yeah, okay. So we have all joined here this morning. So again, a very good morning to all. And then, so today we is an initial session on of our GCP DevOps, right? And today we will be introducing what we would cover in this course. What are the tools that we would be working on? What is the syllabus that we would be following? And also answering to your questions, right? So the main agenda would be that understanding your needs, and so that we can also have some tweaks in our syllabus that suits you well when you work ahead in the industry, and also solving your doubts, right? Okay, so let's have
Yes,
a
yes,
quick
yes.
sorry.
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Yeah, so let's have a quick round of understanding of our profiles, right? That gives us a more clarity on what are we expecting from this course, or where do we stand right now, and how we can help you to achieve your goals in your career, right? So let me start by introducing myself, and then we can move along, right? So my name is Akash. So I have more than 7 years of expertise in cloud and DevOps. I work as a senior DevOps engineer and in Publicis Sapiens, and then I am a multi-cloud certified, AWS solutions architect, GCP cloud engineer, and Azure admin certified, and also Terraform certified. So what I work into is I basically work in designing scalable and resilient cloud architectures. I also architect and implement end-to-end DevOps pipelines using streamlined development, testing, and deployment phases. I'm also working into infrastructure automation using Terraform, Python, and TerraGrunt, right? So this is a quick background about myself, and I'll be the trainer of this course. So you can unmute yourself one by one and can give a quick one two liners of introduction of yourself, and what is the exact expectation that you have from us in this course, or what is your goal that you want to achieve by joining this course, and what do you want to learn. Just you can tell us, and that would be a good starting point of us going ahead in this journey, right? So yeah, it's you can get started one by one. Any volunteers who wants to start?
Maybe you have to call names accordingly so that we go in uniform.
Okay, cool, yeah, that sounds good, thanks. Okay, I see Ashwin. Ashwin, can you start? Okay. Devesh, can you uh, go unmute and have one or two lines?
Yeah, sure. Actually, my voice was, some network disruption. I suppose you're asking for introduction, right?
A quick one two liners, and do you
Yeah.
expect from this profile? Yeah.
Okay. So I'm Devesh and I'm a project manager leading a Java application team. My client is actually doing a modernization initiative, so mostly moving their application infrastructure, everything to the GCP side. So
Mhm.
that is where I'm curious and trying to understand so I can relate more with client needs and accordingly, lead my team also.
Okay, understood. Okay, thanks Devesh.
Thank you.
Maybe Vijay, can you go next? Okay. Jiva, can you go next? Okay. Sonu.
Hey, hi Akash. This is Sonu. and I have completed my graduation in 2019, and I'm planning to learn cloud technology like AWS or whatever it may be, GCP. And I have some brief knowledge on how to launch the servers and all, how to launch the Linux instance, how to launch the Windows instance. I do have some brief knowledge by going through the YouTube videos and all. So I'm much passionate to learn this kind of cloud technology, Akash.
Mm. Okay, great, great, great. Yeah, thanks, Sonu. Joseph.
Thank you. My name is Joseph. I have been working as a DevOps engineer, but lately, early this year, unfortunately, I was among the 161 engineers that were laid off during the laid off period. So I've been struggling going back into DevOps. It's been hard. I've been deploying workloads on AWS. Fairly enough, in the industry environment, you may have knowledge of every other tools, but when you go inside the enterprise environment, based on what we call the principle of least privilege, you are only entitled to, handle a role that has to do with your responsibility. So I have always been on Jenkins, building pipelines and so on, but my flair now is I want to go into GCP. I'm tired of AWS. I mean, I want to really go into GCP and get certified from at least have the first certification, the ACE and the DevOps certification. And to add to that, what you have just mentioned as part of your skill set is exactly my target. I just want to know how to, not only deploy, but how to, infrastructure provisioning, you know, by using
Mm-hmm,
Terraform. Yeah. So
mm-hmm,
those things that you have mentioned as being one of your skill set, those are the required skill set in the market here. I live in North America, in the United States. So
mm-hmm.
that is what is needed here in this part of the world. So those skills you have is exactly what I need right now. That is why I am diverting my attention from AWS. I'm ready to start from the scratch. I have gone through your demo. That is why I'm interested. I am not a first timer in Visualpath. I have attended Docker and Kubernetes, which has been very helpful to me. But then I want to, get into another cloud platform, which is GCP. So I'm very ready, but for now, I wouldn't be able to attend class now, like I'm attending now. Why I'm lucky enough to attend class today is because I took a day off because I was hospitalized yesterday, so I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't go to work today. I work only nights. I work at Google data center, but this Google data
Okay.
center, I'm not working as a DevOps engineer. I help them build the racks, these racks that they mount all these servers. So that is what
Mm-hmm.
I do. It's a small pay job. If I was working as a DevOps engineer or a Google a cloud associate engineer, it would be bigger money. So that is the main reason I am joining this class. I am not a first timer. This is my second attainment to join Visual Path for training. So please, all those things that you say you are is exactly what I need. Those are the skill I need. Thank you so much. Remain blessed.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Joseph. And it
Yeah,
was, I'm very sorry to hear your health and also your last year's journey, right? So maybe we go ahead and we learn and you achieve your dreams of your career,
yeah,
right?
like when I told the lady that I contacted, I told them I will not be attending the class, but I really want to base my hope on the videos, materials, and assignment because I work night shift. I work 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. So I expect to be receiving all my videos, all my notes and assignment, and I'm ready to deliver my assignment. Then another
Yeah,
thing I wanted to ask is, do you use GitLab? Because employers here, they are really diverting attention from Jenkins to Tekton and to GitLab, especially GitLab.
okay. Yeah, just park your this question. I'll answer to this when just when we move ahead, right?
Yeah.
So I'll come back to your question on whether we will take up Jenkins or GitLab, right?
We can
Okay.
apply the two since it's just continuous integration. I don't bother about GitOps because I understand how GitOps works. I only use GitOps in one of my projects when I was with DSL working as a platform engineer. But
Hmm.
for GitLab, is very, very important. Very, very important. But Jenkins is fine. But if you can also show us GitLab, which is one of the desirable continuous integration skill in the market, I would really appreciate.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'll answer to your question. Just let me go along. I'll answer to this question. Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Joseph. Saeed, you want to go next?
Hello everyone. So I'm here for getting basics of DevOps as well as GCP. I hope this is what module says.
Hmm.
I'm looking forward to learn GCP basic DevOps and if possible DevSecOps.
Okay. Thanks, Saeed. Venkatesh. Okay. Chandrakant.
Hey Akash, good morning. So this is Chandrakant. Actually, trying to learn DevOps, particularly Kubernetes, Docker, and those things. Apart
Hmm.
from that, I'm still confused, like whether I should start with GCP, AWS, or Azure. That is uh, that is what I was confused. But I'm pretty sure that I wanted to learn DevOps to, go ahead with my further career, future career growth.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Anything else you want to add? Okay. Thank you.
That's all, Akash. But if you will get time, just help me out which one to choose, whether AWS, GCP, or Azure.
Okay. Okay. So when I open the Q&A, I'll take this question also up. Okay.
Sure, Akash. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Drishyant, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, it's
Yeah, it's Dishan. Yeah, thanks for that.
okay.
So basically, I'm from Azure, as an I worked as an Azure architect. So just wanted to have a knowledge in GCP as well, so that I can have an multi-cloud skills. So that's the
Mm-hmm.
reason of this course, of this joining this course. Yeah,
Okay. Great.
thank you, Akash.
Yeah. Thank you. Robbie.
Yeah, hi Akash.
Hello.
Hello. Can you
Yeah.
hear my
Robbie,
voice?
you're audible. Yes, you're audible, Robbie.
Yeah. Yeah, right now I am working in New York, so one of the reputed insurance company. So
Mm-hmm.
present we are working on tools like Azure and Azure DevOps and SecOps. Yeah. Out of
Okay.
that I need to learn GCP and SRE if it is possible.
Okay. Understood. Understood.
Yeah.
Thank you. Igor, can you go next?
Oh, yes. Hi, sir. Well,
You can call me Akash.
okay, Akash, okay. I'm a DevOps engineer too. I was working for a company here in US, but unfortunately, they cut down their budget, so they have to let some of the engineers go, and it's been like uh 2 months now. I'm struggling getting a job. Also, the market is really tight, really tight.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So I got certified in Kubernetes, in CKA, certified Kubernetes administrator, and I'm looking forward to go for my solution architect in AWS. But I realized that it's true, AWS is the leader in cloud, but I missed like three opportunity to get a job in GCP also. So there were so I decided to join this course to have an idea about how GCP work and get more opening job also. Uh, yeah, and
Okay,
also
understood.
yeah, and one more suggestion. Uh, I don't know if you'll be able to do any working on any CI/CD pipeline. If yes, is are you gonna use Jenkins or which one are you gonna use? But in my suggestion, I prefer uh, the GitLab because most company are shifted to the
Mm,
GitLab. So
yes.
yeah, so
Okay.
Jenkins is kind of you know old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So
I understand. I'll answer because I had a question from Joseph also on this. So I'll answer this question.
okay.
Okay.
That's
And yeah.
exactly how it is here in the US. A lot of
Yes.
companies
Correct.
are
Yeah.
shifting to GitLab. They are just trying to make everything YAML. And believe me,
Yes.
the last speaker, from what you have just said, you are at the right place. AWS, the boss is full. That
It's
is what
full
Yes.
I have.
exactly.
That is what I have discovered. I lost three opportunities of $145,000 a year for just DevOps
GCP.
engineer DevOps engineer, but my recruiter did not enlighten me that the company is called Rhino, Rhinos, Rhinos. The
Okay.
recruiter did not really furnish me information that they are using cloud GCP. If
Mm-hmm.
she had told me they are using GCP, I would have at least scrambled on documentation. GCP platform is easy to read and understand, and it's most straightforward, user friendly, like than AWS.
Yes.
AWS,
Yes.
you need information, you have to suffer to get information, but GCP is not like that. GCP is very lovely and user friendly. So when I entered the interview, I discovered all what they were asking me is how do you set up your compute engine? How do you deploy
Yeah.
using
Exactly. Easy question.
SDK? I asked them, what are you talking about? Because I have been deploying on AWS since 2018. I have been an AWS fan. I mean, AWS, I'm a cloud practitioner. I stopped there because I saw that the market is too full of AWS. So AWS, the boss is full. But for GCP, the
Mm,
ground is very, very fresh. There is a lot of opportunity. So my brother,
correct.
the last speaker, from what you have just said, you see the CKA you have, this when you have this particular one, this DevOps, and you add to that CKA, the sky will be your limit. You will see, you will have a job. One, two, three. I'm struggling to
Yes.
have that CKA, but I hope Akash will help me get myself ready for a good DevOps job in GCP. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks. Okay. Let's go ahead a bit. We have few more uh, people in. Sai, do you want to go next? Okay. Looks like. Did I miss anyone who is left and one did not get a chance to have a conversation, a starting conversation, I would say.
I have one more thing to say because if I join this class, this course, well, I might be in the class just for 2 days because I work overnight too. I lost that. DevOps job, so I work overnight, so I may be in class for 2 days, but I will follow the recording just to let you know.
Yes, yes.
Uh,
Okay.
Brother,
I
you are just like me. You just have to jump on anything you see just to get yourself, because
yes,
bills in America keep coming. Bills don't stop coming. Bills don't
yes.
stop coming. So you don't worry, we are on the right track. This
Okay,
visual part, I have gotten training from them. So this is a good place. This is a good place.
okay. I guess we have covered everyone. So let's get a bit started, right? And we have been waiting for a long time. Okay. So my screen is visible to you guys, right? Yes, I
yes,
guess.
Yes, sir.
yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
Okay, cool. So this is what I am just briefing about myself. I have knowledge on DevOps. So if I say DevOps, if you are interested in what tools I have knowledge on, if specifically I hear that a lot of doubts on Jenkins and GitLab and GitHub, right? GitHub was not picked up over here by anyone, but yeah. So I have knowledge and working experience on all of these three: Jenkins, GitLab CI, and GitHub CI, as well as GCP Cloud Build. And then on cloud computing, so I've working experience and certified in all three public clouds, and now I've mostly scaled and designed in all three for most of my projects, working across different organizations for last 7 years. So yeah, that would be cloud computing. Then collaboration is one, because if you are going ahead in DevOps, so this is one of the key skills that you will also require apart from your technical skills, is the your I would say non-technical part of collaboration. What I mean by collaboration is you collaborating with your development team, as well as your upper management, as well as the other SRE community or the ops community, right? To have a very streamlined process that you will be defining as a DevOps engineer. So that clarity you need to have, and you need to pass that on in your industry or in your project, right? That is one that I'm also having, and I think I'll pass that on to you how to have that, and so that you can excel in that. And also have knowledge of scripting. Why scripting? Yes, scripting is required because when you need to automate something, you need to write it on some language, right? So we had only heard traditional language of, let's say, when we are in our college days, or earlier in our industry career, we learned that okay, there is Java, there is JavaScript, there is .NET. But that is definitely one side of scripting that people do. But for DevOps, there are again multiple other ways that you can work on the scripting, so and make your automation work. So one would be, the very most industry use would be Bash, right? And now with modern tools coming into place, we have HCL or HashiCorp configuration language that we use for Terraform scripting. Then we have Python to work with our SDKs to have those automation working. So yeah, these are the modern tools that we are now using, and it will go along as we go ahead, because our learning never stops, right? Okay. So I'll just give a quick background what is DevOps in one or two slides, and then we go along discussing about the topics we'll be covering, because I see one of you candidates who have joined in is familiar, not much familiar, I think, and they are trying to get started with DevOps, and then trying to shape their career in, right? So for them, I just need to take up few slides, and for my advanced and experienced candidates, please do hold on. I also have content to help you understand more, right? Okay, so our main objective is we becoming either a DevOps engineer or a cloud engineer or a solutions architect in near future, right? So this is what we are, I think we are preparing ourselves for moving ahead in the journey, right? So what is basically DevOps? And so in our modern industry, so we hear of many tools, right? And if we are trying to start That is our breaking point, I would say, right? We think of, oh god, I have to learn AWS, I have to learn Azure, I have to learn GCP. Okay, that covers the cloud part, right? So that is first point of hindrance that we get, right? That which is the cloud I should decide when I want to start, right? That's one part. And then again, if you again think of and read about the pictures that are circulating in the professional world, then you think you see of Jenkins, Git, Maven, then our new containerization tools of Docker, Kubernetes, and you get bamboozled, right? So do I need to learn everything, and how do I get started, right? So these are the typical, I guess, the questions that comes to your mind when you see these images, and you see people speaking about these things, but you are not understanding, and you are not able to figure out, right, where do you get started, how do you get started. And fundamental question would be, then what is DevOps? Are these tools DevOps? So these questions do come to your mind, I guess. When I also started long back, these definitely came to my mind, right? So yes, again, we again see many more tools coming up newly in the industry, because as I said, our learning never stops as well. So it's in comparison, because every day new modern tools are coming into the market to facilitate or help or enhance our business, right? End of the day, it's the business or that is getting I would say enhanced and getting improved, and their efficiencies are increasing, right? So have those efficiency increase, we need modern tools to solve their modern problems, right? We cannot sit back in our old tools that were discovered in 1990s or in early 2000s or 2010s, because our problems have changed, our way of thinking have changed, right? So uh, everything is modernizing, and we also need to learn and step up in that journey of learning, right? So yeah, so if you are more confused, I think you are in the right track, or I would say in the right zone, where you can learn, and you can also build your platform to know where to learn, what to learn, and how to get started in your journey of DevOps, I would say, right? For now, don't just, if you are new to DevOps, don't think much of these tools, because we are covering most of the tools in this. And I'll also help you understand, if you know one tool, how can you work with those similar sort of tools, right? Because we are humans, and we cannot learn each and everything that comes in the market, and that would be a very much hectic process. But you should be in a zone that you should be open to learning new things. Let's say what I mean by this. Okay, I'll cover this ahead. Let's not bore you more of these things. Okay, so why learn DevOps? I think we are mostly, or everyone is clear. That is, I think, the reason why we have joined in this early morning for us in IST, and for others who have joined in from the American side, right? There, it's the night time for them, maybe. So we all know what DevOps can help in our career. So it is one of the highest, highly paid, I would say highest. It is one of the highly paid job as per survey of Indeed, Glassdoor, and Quora, and it makes our life simpler, and it's one of the also the buzzword now in the industry, right? DevOps. So that is the reason, I think, if you are trying to figure out on which career path you need to choose, or which technology you need to move on, I think DevOps would be a very good starting platform for you guys, right, to have a start in this journey. Correct. So when I speak DevOps, just think of as well as cloud, right? DevOps and clouds has is now hand in gloves, right? So when I speak of DevOps, it's also cloud, right? Okay, moving on. So everyone needs DevOps. That's the industry standard right now. Is that uh, what I mean by everyone needs DevOps is, we, as I told you earlier, we need to increase our efficiency of our projects, of our business, right? We want to get our products delivered faster to users, so that they are not impacted by delays, or by, I would say, downtime, which the people who are familiar with IT industry know what is downtime, right? So we want to, at the end of the day, if I tell you in layman terms, it is increasing the efficiency of our delivery, and giving a more suitable or enhancing or enriching experience to our end users, right? So I'll just give you a quick example. Let's say you are watching a Netflix movie, but if that movie or that platform is crashing 10 times in a day, I don't think you would be going next day to open up that app and watching their content out there, right? We would feel very bad, and we would never go back out there, and we would have in a perception that, hey, these guys do not have efficiency, they cannot keep their application upright, and how will they serve my uh, um, my what desires to have my content delivered, right? So this is what uh, now industry is trying to enhance, so to give the end users a more usable or suitable experience, right? And this is where DevOps comes in very much handy to them, right? To have those feature delivered faster to you, and also without with having less, or I would say near to zero downtime, right? So that is what why everyone is now looking and in DevOps and trying to learn and implement DevOps, right? So why me? I don't want to exaggerate myself again, but I've been now trained over more than hundreds of candidates, and I've been diverse across training candidates across all public clouds, majorly in AWS, Azure, and GCP, and also on DevOps, right? And why one more thing I want to tell you is it would be more practical if someone has seen my earlier recorded videos. If admin you can ask it from the admin people. So I basically follow a way of helping you guys to understand the concept, then we also implement directly whatever concept we learn, we do it hands on, and then we pull out assignments out of it, and also giving you reference, right? That is the more important part, I think, that giving you reference that how this tool can be used in one of your use case in your industry, how can you solve a particular problem if you have a doubt using those tools or those concepts that you learn. I think that is one of the major thing that you'll be learning along with me. And also I also help with certifications, like what questions can come for your certification examination while we are learning things, and also what you can expect when you're sitting for your interviews, right? These are the points that we cover along once we are learning the tools or technologies, or I would say the services, right? Because it cannot happen that end of the day when we come to the penultimate sessions, right? Then you but then I say you all those tips and tricks, that does not make much sense, because we have walked means for at that time we would have walked a long path, right? And for you to correlate again back with those concepts and technologies will take uh, much of your brains cracking, I would say. So it will be very much relatable when we go along in the course, right? So what exactly is DevOps? Let's so just remember one thing, why we have so many explanations now in the market related to DevOps. So as I was telling you, right, we see so many tools out in the market, right? So every person, I won't say all everyone, but people who are working in this industry does know what is DevOps. But if someone is trying to start, or someone has not started but they try to think what is DevOps, so there can be multiple explanations out in the market. Some say it is an automation or a scripting concept, some say that it is a cloud computing theory, some say that it is only about culture, some say that it is only about tools that we use, right? So so we have multiple, I would say, explanations in the market, but to one word, if I want to tell you, it's just DevOps is a philosophy, I would say, right? It's only a culture. There is no specific. So let's get our brains clear that there is no specific tools, because you don't see any DevOps tools in the market. Yes, people have termed those tools relating to DevOps, but there is no specific technology known as DevOps. It's a philosophy or a culture that we implement in our industry. Yes, definitely we require tools to implement that philosophy or culture, but DevOps cannot be a straightforward tool. Like we have AWS as a cloud provider, DevOps is no such technology. This we should get cleared, right? Everything that falls along with that is a part of this philosophy, right? So that is one thing we must know as of now. In okay, so someone was trying to speak. uh, can you park your questions if you have, and then we go along at the end with your questions. Okay, thank you. So just I'll give one or two scenarios why suddenly we require DevOps, because I don't want to bore you much more. So we had earlier in our early 2000s, because we had been delivering softwares from back on 1960s or 70s, right? And as I said, we enhance our models based on our use cases or our problem statements that we face, right? So earlier in our industry we used to have a model known as waterfall model. So what is that waterfall model? Let's say, just forget or don't read these terms as of now that are in white and in bold, right? Just focus on the background picture. Okay, for the people who are new to DevOps or trying to start, I know the advanced people do know of these things, but yes, I want to also enlighten everyone who have joined in. So please bear with me. So just focus on this image in the background, right? So you see a waterfall, right? And that waterfall has some, I would say, bends, right, at each levels, right? So if you think if the water has to come down from the upper level to the lower level, it has to follow that path, right? That first it has to come down from that first slope, then it has to again streamline down and then move into the second slope, then the third slope, and then likewise it goes down to the base, and then it flows out, right, into the rivers or the ponds or the seas. And that is how we are getting mostly water from our mountain glaciers, right? So if you can have that thinking right now in your mind, that okay, it has to pass these multiple steps, and until and unless it passes that step, let's say, you can't have that water at fourth level until and unless you have those water reaching your third level, right? That is how this picture also shows us, right? If I just put a blocker at third level, it cannot come down to your fourth level, right? So this was practically the model that in our early industry model that they followed, right? So uh, first they define their project use case. Let's say I want to build an app, right? I'm just giving an example to help you understand. So let's say I have a requirement of building an application, I would say, not app, application. So okay, that would be very too much higher for you, but let's give you a very quick example. Let's say you want to buy a laptop for yourself, right? So before buying a laptop for yourself, you have to define your requirement, right? What is that you want to do with your laptop? Do you want to play games? Do you want to only work basic stuff, or do you want to use it for your learning? So it can be multiple requirements based on whatever you are desiring, right? So likewise in our industry, if you want to build an application, we have to define our requirement, right? What do you want to do with that application? So likewise, let's again come back to the laptop example, is that now if we have our desire or our requirement fixed, then we need to think of the specification that we need to use for our laptop, right? Let's say if you are going for a gaming requirement, then you need to have a high-end laptop, right? You cannot run it with a 2B CPU and 8 GB memory, right? Your games won't run good, right? You need to also have a graphics intercard interface, right, or Nvidia or Intel or something, right, to have your games in a smooth running, right? So in this way also our industry had to design that, and then you have to go out in the market. Let's say for your laptop you have to buy that out, and then come back and then set that up, test, and then if it goes wrong you have to maintain. So all these steps you had to follow, right? So likewise in our industry we also were required to follow all these things, and each step was dependent on their initial stage, right? So this was the model that they followed, and what did was it it made the entire process very 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 long, right? And it had dependencies. Let's say if my design or if my design is not fulfilled, I cannot go along. If my testing is not fulfilled, I cannot go along, right? So to overcome these problems or these models, we had switched to mostly of DevOps, right? What DevOps will do, I'll tell you. Just this is one of the main reasons why we have evolved and have pushed ourselves into this new philosophy or new culture of moving our uh, industry into DevOps, right? Where we do not have dependencies on one another, and it can move in a very streamlined process, right? Okay, there's one more quick example of what we have used to have earlier, that is dev versus ops. What is dev? Dev is the developers team and ops is the operations team. So before DevOps came into the picture, we had also this sort of a problem. So the dev was in a constant clash with the ops team, right? I know that once people who have joined, they know this scenario, right? If someone is from the operations or someone who have joined in from the development side, they might have faced this, is that there was a very huge block of a wall between them, right? And it has the I would say there is a very good term in the industry, that is the blame game. So when your end users get affected, so we as teams passed on our failures, I would say. Let's be honest, it's failures only in the industry. So we used to pass our failures to the next or the next team that is also responsible for having that application, right? So it used to go back and forth between the dev and the ops team. Why? Because it, first is might be the developers have not given you the exact requirement how you need to deploy your application, or what I mean by deploy is how you need to, in layman's term, how you need to install your application. Like let's say if you are not, whenever you install let's say a notepad plus plus, let me give you a very uh, easier example. So if we as end users, when we try to deploy a notepad plus plus, when you deploy that, you would need to select few check boxes, right? Do you want this feature, do you want that feature, or do you accept the terms and conditions? So let's say if those steps are not told by the developers to the ops team or the operations team, they won't have the knowledge of how that application functions, or whether there is any dependency of some um, what I would say, dependency on some other tools supporting that feature, right? That application. So there was a constant clash between them, and the end users were definitely affected, and in turn your business was getting a loss, right? You missed your deadlines. What I mean by deadlines is, you, let's say I have 1 month to deliver something, so it used to not happen in that month, and we used to have delays, so it is getting delivered in, let's say 2 months or 2.5 months, right? So as a end user, or as an end what I would say, end industry standard, we used to have a business loss, right? So this is where this DevOps has come and evolved us, because it is much more streamlined, and we had to go away with all of those troubles, and DevOps started to solve all those problems, right? So DevOps has built up this very good model, is collaboration, communication, and then integration, right? So you as a DevOps engineer will be having all these skills to excel ahead. Apart from your definitely technical skills, you also need these the understanding of the process should be there amongst all your teams, and we as DevOps will educate everyone in our project or in our industry to follow these basic principles of collaboration, communication, and integration, right? So we will help the development team understanding this understand their requirements, and then how we can have that stability, so that we do not have to go into that blame game once we install our application. And then we also sit with the operations team, or having understanding their requirements, how to have a zero downtime environment, how we can make our processes more agile. Yes, agility, as the term you see, is also a model that we use to follow. So when we start the course, I'll also speak a bit on this, but for our time constraint, let's not focus much on that. But yes, we will sit together with the development team, as well as operations team, and try to make a streamlined life cycle process, right, to have the very smooth flow to uh, give our end users what they want in our specified deadline, right, having a very I would say having zero business loss. Okay. And automation is definitely one part, because if manual intervention is there in every task that you do, there is a chance of going into errors, because we as humans, there is a very peculiar way that we tend to forget things, right? So that is the way that is the way forward, that we need to automate everything, right? And we as DevOps engineers will be facilitating that process of automation in our projects, industry, or in our organization, right? So what we have seen is these stability, agility, and automation. Yes, so DevOps implements these cultures, uh, these philosophies, I would say. And to enhance or to work with these philosophies, you need some tools, right? So I'll come to the tools, but let okay, this is DevOps lifecycle. I won't take this up because we have also new people who are trying to learn DevOps. So this would be very hard for them to understand right now. But this will be very much clear when we have moved along in our journey, and you'll tend to understand each and every step and how to facilitate those steps, that you will get to understand, right? So just to give you a higher picture, this is the end to end, what we say in technical terms is end to end flow of our development to deployment to our end users. So this is the generic flow that we follow in our industry, or in our projects, or in our organization, right? So do not go into the criticalities of what is code build, code test. We will understand each and everything. Now let's see a bit of this life cycle or tools, right, that we will be taking up in this course, and also what is that there in the market right now. So in the market, I would be upfront that there are multiple tools definitely there to solve one problem. There are multiple tools to do that, but we cannot take all the tools there in the market. But definitely if you learn one tool, you will have added advantage of means it will be very quick for you to learn the other tools also. Okay, in that same genre, I would say. That's part one. So we have seen this entire image every time when we search anything on DevOps, right? The push, the build, the test, the upload, the deploy, the load, and the push. What are these? We will learn all this. So on and higher, we will be going ahead with these pictures of tools that you see: Git, Jenkins. Yes, Jenkins and GitLab, I'll come to that because we haven't yet decided on that. But yes, I'll come to that. But apart from that, Maven, then Docker, then Nexus, and what are they and what do they do? Just a quick understanding for the new people. So if you want to manage your code somewhere as a source of truth, you need Git, right, to do that. So Jenkins or GitLab does the orchestration part, where you can define your pipelines. What is pipelines? It's just you putting all these stages that you see together at one place, that we define it as pipelines. So that also is facilitated by many tools, the modern to Jenkins, GitLab CI, GitHub Actions. Then we have cloud tools also to facilitate that, like you have heard of Azure DevOps or GCP Cloud Build. So these are the tools that orchestrate that entire pipeline, right? Next we have build artifacts. What is artifacts? It would be, artifacts is just up, you think it now as a package. Let's say you have an uh, when you deploy a Windows application, you have a .exe, right? So that is a entire package given to you for your deployment. So like that is one sort of an artifact. So we can also build those artifacts using multiple tools of Maven or Gradle. So these are the tools that we'll learn. Then where we can store those artifacts, so we have Nexus, then we have GCP artifact repository where we can store. Yeah, so we will also learn that. And then for provisioning the entire infrastructure, right? So you can definitely do it manually, there is no harm in doing it, but you think of a scenario when you have 1000 of uh, customers or users, or you need to provision on their environments. That time you as a single person cannot do 1000 environments by your own hand, doing it manually. So that is the reason why automation has become important, and there are a few automation tools that are there in provisioning the infrastructure. The predominant one that is now dominating the market is Terraform, but definitely you have some other tools. Maybe Piliumi is one of the tools that is also picking up in the market, and you also have cloud provider provided tools, right? uh, and which one you should use, I'll come to that, and we will learn those tools. And end of the day, you need to deploy those. You need a base platform to deploy, so that would be your servers. Let's say you can choose anything Linux or Windows. And apart from that, we are also hearing a term known as containerization, right? So for that, what is containerization? Let's not go into those, just think that containerization, to facilitate that, we have few tools again. So Docker and Kubernetes. So we will again be learning all those tools, right? So a brief understanding. So what are the tools we would be covering in this course when we go ahead is, first, our basic fundamentals of very basic of Linux and earlier state virtualization, what we used to do earlier. Just we will have the understanding. That is why this understanding is required, because if I don't tell you about, the people who have trying to start, if I don't tell you what is virtualization, you won't be able to understand why microservices, or why Docker, or why Docker containers have come into the picture, right? That for that we will cover a bit. And then we understand Git, right? Then we move into either Jenkins or GitHub CI, or GitLab CI. There's a printing error, or GitLab CI, I would say. Then we also learn of Maven, Nexus, and Sonar. This would be basically used when we are defining our pipeline. So these tools will be used over there to build and then test and also store our artifacts. Then we also learn about Ansible, is one of the configuration tool, and why that is required and how to use that, we'll definitely check that. Then we have Docker, Kubernetes. Then for monitoring part, we will be working with Prometheus and Grafana. Then we touch a bit on GCP cloud computing, because and then we go to GCP DevOps resources, and then Terraform, right? So this is on the high level of topics that we will be covering. So just quick understanding of what is Git we'll be seeing. Then we have Docker, what is containers, Docker file deployments. We'll learn and help you also build those. So deployment is, yeah. Then we have container orchestration engines, that is the most predominantly used is Kubernetes. We'll go very deep into this, because this will help you to solve a lot of problems and lot of upcoming problems in the industry. uh, So this is on the Docker and Kubernetes, right? What we would be learning, and on a high level, right? What are the resources that we will be learning in Kubernetes, right? And an added thing that we will be also learning is a service mesh. So I think people who are a bit more advanced in this journey will know what is service mesh. But for new people, we will, means, because we will be starting from scratch. Please don't scratch your head as of now, because we will be learning all this. Just the tool that we will be using for service mesh is Linkerd. Okay, so just to give you that understanding. And then we also learn Jenkins or GitLab CI. That is a question that I will also answer. And then Maven, Ansible, Terraform, and yes, GCP products, right? Because this is mostly focused on GCP DevOps, we won't be much covering all the parts of GCP cloud, because that would make this entire course huge. But if you want to take that up, we have a GCP admin uh, training that runs, where we cover most of the uh, GCP tools, because this is mostly focused to serve one sort of certification, that is if you are going for a GCP DevOps certification, you that will have an upper edge in that. Yes, you, if when you learn GCP products, you will be definitely understanding many of the products, like uh, so compute engine, load balancers, cloud storage, cloud, the DevOps parts is cloud build, artifact repository, source repository, container registry, then cloud run, GKE, cloud functions, app engine. So these we have taken up from the GCP, relating to the GCP DevOps certifications, and then referring to the services that we will be using mostly for our DevOps part. But yes, if you want to learn more of networking, IAM, DNS, and then storage, and all of those KMS and all of those in depth, then I think you also need to a bit take learn from the GCP admin course, because GCP cloud engineer is the certification that we do for that, right? And we cannot implement, I would say, include everything in one course, then that makes everything very patchy, right? So we try to focus on one particular professional certification and build our products along it, right? And build our course along it. Yes, so whatever tools I said, so if you think of these GCP DevOps tools, so we will be writing our stages and pipelines, facilitating these other tools that I'll be explaining, and then we will be building pipelines on that, and definitely on Jenkins or GitLab CI, whatever we take up, we will be working on those of building an end-to-end pipelines over there, right? But the administration you won't get much hands-on in this course, I would say, right? Okay, I am done. I think I have bored you with a lot of uh, theory, I would say, a lot of pitches. But now I am open to your questions, and let's get started. Please unmute yourself and put forward your questions so that I can answer. But to get open the forum for you, I will answer uh, two questions that I parked you. One was from Joseph, or that whether we will be taking Jenkins or GitLab CI, right? So there is no, what I can say is there is no hard point that we can stick to either Jenkins or GitLab, because we need to define one particular tool. And if the forum, because Jenkins, why that decision is not yet made, because Jenkins is a universal tool, but as in the modern industry, as Joseph was also telling, because people are now moving ahead away from Jenkins and going to modern tools, like GitLab or GitHub, right? Why? I'll give you the reason. Because you are storing already your code into GitLab or GitHub as your source of truth, right? Now those tools have now come with modern features of CI and CD, right? What is CI and CD for new joinees, I'll explain when we go along. But to give you a higher level understanding, so why again use a tool that is a third party tool? Why not integrate everything in one common tool? And there are very differences when you use Jenkins and GitLab. Is I don't want to go into very deep into that, but yes, based on our feedback that we get in this course, we can decide on which uh, tool, the CI orchestration tool that we can take. So I had two votes for GitLab CI, and definitely we'll be learning the cloud build tool on GCP. That's constant, that we won't be changing. But for the other third party tool, we can either go with Jenkins or GitLab CI based on the feedback do we get. So if no one has problems of learning the new modern tool, then definitely we can take up GitLab CI. That there is no hard constraint from our side, right? Which tool that we need to pick up. Okay, this is one question. One, I think, answer to one question, and the second one was, where do I get started? I please, I do apologize. I do not remember the name. If you, but there was that question, right? On which cloud platform do we start? So this is a very, I would say, a very typical question that is coming nowadays. Is which cloud? See, what I had seen now in the industry is AWS is more or less, or Azure is more or less saturated, right? You will have uh, okay, I'll answer that in two parts. If you are a very experienced person, then please go for multi-cloud and learning all of the cloud platforms, because in the near future, let's say what I can see in down the 3 to 5 years, people will start using multi-cloud. They wouldn't have their workload specific to one cloud. Let's say they won't be running into one AWS cloud. They will shift their traffic, or they will segregate their load using multiple clouds, right? That is one question for answer to the experienced person. Start learning multi-cloud. You will have an edge in the market, right? When your CVs are getting picked up, and if you have those certifications and learnings when you sit for your interviews, you will have an upper edge in any job market that you go into, be it on the recession time, be it in the, I'm not taking off the peak times, right? Peak time definitely, but also coming to the recession times, when the market a bit job market becomes stagnant, opportunities are less. So what recruiters try to find is the they try to find people who is having much more skills. If they are placed in any of the technology or any of the tools that they use, whether they can fit in the teams that they are given into, and they're ready to take up projects, right? So if you are an experienced person trying to dominate this field for the next 5 to 10 years, let's not think short term. I always tell my trainees to think in a long term, right? Try to go for multi cloud. That's one. So if you know AWS, learn GCP. If you know GCP AWS, learn Azure. Have your I would say horizon much more wider, right? So you are not much affected, and you get much more scope in the market, right? And now coming to the point that if you are a starter or a fresher trying to come into this domain, I won't suggest you for now go with AWS or Azure. If you have very specific affection for those cloud providers, you can. But why I am not suggesting you? Because there's already a saturation. Most of the people that I see nowadays, when I sit for taking interviews or when I sit in the panel, I see most people are having that AWS knowledge. But yeah, knowledge can differ, right? You can be a starter, or you can be a mid-level, intermediate, or advanced. That's fine. But I see there are a lot of vacancies now for this cloud GCP, because GCP is also trying to expand I'll show you one picture. Okay, let me show you one picture quickly. That will help you to understand what I am meaning by this saturation. Let me know if my screen is visible, guys. Okay, so to answer that question for thing, right? So this is a research that was done in the stats that was picked up in 2022. I had 2023, but I do not find it right now. But 2023, the graph is again a much more steep for Google, right? So you can see where Google was standing long back in 17, and where AWS or was standing, right? And now where Google is trying to push its product, right? So that is the reason why I'm telling. So you can see AWS are not able to go ahead in their market. And if you see the 2023 data, it has also fallen a bit, right, of taking the new markets, right? So now GCP is also pushing their product, and the trained professionals for the GCP cloud is not yet saturated, and it's very less, I would say. Okay, only saying I know GCP does not solve your problem. When you sit for your interviews, you need to solve the problems that your company for which you are trying to go is trying to fix, right? If you can solve those problems, they do not expect you to solve end to end, but if you can at least give them the logic how you can solve that problem, that will give you that upper edge in having those interviews cracked, right? So that is the reason why I tell you is that if you're trying to start a cloud journey, start with GCP, because that is the new trend that is picking up, right? The new cloud that is pushing in the market. And in later, once you learn this, then go with multi-cloud, right? Okay, now please go ahead with your questions. Yeah, let me check in the chat if I do have any. Okay.
Yes, I have a question. After completing this course, do you suggest any certificate like cloud certificate?
Certifications.
Certificate? Yeah, like which one does
Okay.
that? I really don't have any idea about Google Cloud certificate.
Okay, so there are multiple certifications that you can go for along once you finish this course. One is a CKA, Kubernetes Administrator. Second would be if you want to go with Docker certification, but if you have Kubernetes certifications, you don't need Docker. The second would be Terraform certification, because we will be learning Terraform end to end. So Terraform certification is one that you can target while you are finishing this course, when you are finishing this course. And on GCP side, I would suggest go with GCP DevOps certifications, right?
Okay,
Because this is not much on the admin side, though I do not suggest you on Google Cloud Engineer certification, but you can definitely clear your GCP DevOps certification. Yeah.
okay, okay.
Okay. There is one question in the chat. Let's see. In GCP, what services you cover as part of GCP cloud computing section? Okay, so it will be VMs, load balancers, then app engine, persistent disk, and then managed instance groups, right? These would be the predominant services that we will be covering under cloud computing. Why? Because there is a section where we need to deploy our workload, right? So to facilitate those things, uh, we will be learning those uh, tools, or yes, those resources. Yes. Yeah, but cloud computing also sometimes include cloud run, or where we run our Docker containers, and GKE, Google Kubernetes engine. So when we learn Kubernetes, to implement our hands-on, we will be spinning up GKE and doing all our work over there, right? So we will be using a managed Kubernetes engine in form of GKE. So yes, that is the thing that we'll be learning. Okay, yes, in the outside market there are the question from Robbie. Yes, in the outside market there are so many companies asking for specific tools in DevOps. Yes, for Rock, Argo, CD, Team CD, Octopus, Python, Rancher. How you covered the how you covered competitive tools in DevOps GCP? Robbie, is your question how we will be covering, or what is the exact question? Yes, if you can have a bit more clarity on it, you can ask. Okay, let me move on to the next. What would be the total duration? Okay, the total duration would something between 50 to 55 hours, right? So because we will be covering most of the tools in detail, so it will take up to 50 to 55 hours. Yep. So yeah, this is the questions that I had in chat. Any new questions that you are having in your mind, apart from whether we will go with Jenkins or GitLab CI? Okay, just want to do one round of understanding. If you want to go, people who are there, if you want to go ahead with Jenkins, please put a J, and if you want to go ahead with GitLab, please put a G. So that is a thing that we also will have a fair understanding. Please put it in chat, either G or a J. And you can also ask your questions by unmuting yourselves. Any question, guys? Okay, so just based on the feedback we got, I think because GitLab CI is the modern tool, we will be pivoting ourselves in learning GitLab. That will, I guess, help everyone in the market, because with my prior experience in the industry, I had also been using GitLab, and also was in a migration project where we migrated. So let's take GitLab. You'll learn something new, okay? And that I definitely tell it will solve most of your uh, problems in the industry. Yeah. Okay. So we'll be taking up GitLab only in this course. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Please do feel free, and also put your email IDs in the chat. And yeah. Any other questions?
Uh,
Okay, I see a lot of G's. G. Can we go with both? I think no, because we already have a GCP cloud built. We will learn. So learning two tools again will make this course very very big, and uh, I think that is will not be feasible, and it will only puzzle you guys. If you are new to both the tools, then it will be create havoc for you. So I would suggest let's learn some modern tools, right? So let's go with GitLab only for this, and let's I because why I am suggesting GitLab, I'll tell you in the course itself what Jenkins problems are there and what GitLab is solving for you. And yeah, so let's go with G only, or GitLab CI. Okay, I see a lot of G's, so yes, let's
Yeah.
go with G.
Do we cover GCP networking? That is something somebody is asking. Networking in GCP, which is very important. Yeah.
Okay, so it will be on a very high level because networking is a very big part. So but yes, I'll help you understand the fundamentals when we are setting up your because we will be setting up all our resources, right? Whatever I have talked, VM or compute, VM or GKE or cloud run. So definitely we need networking out there. So on a higher level, yes, I'll help you understand. But if you want
Yeah,
to go deep,
at least to have the multi-zone where we can,
yes,
actually
okay,
have hands-on high availability, because that is the
yes,
main focus, high availability. Spreading
mm,
those VMs
mm,
in a situation whereby a failure of
yes, yes,
one is not affecting the customer. So networking is very, very important to cover. And also, exposing our endpoints just to the external world, using ingress. That means we are going to make the use of DNS so that we can actually, have our application, kind of round robin into different microservices, please.
yes, we will be covering this because I said load balancer, and for Kubernetes side we will be learning ingress as well as ingress controller. So I did not want you to means I did not want to say those big jargons because that would be very much new to everyone. But yes, definitely we will be covering those. Yes, networking also because to answer your question, in GCP we have a concept known as managed instances. When we are spinning up our GKE, so we definitely means if someone is now known of Kubernetes, so we need to have our worker nodes, right? So just to answer their question, I'm just giving a clarity. So for that scenarios, I'll help you. Means we will spin up a HA model, right? So yeah. There's one more question in the chat. What is the prerequisite for this course? Sorry if you have already answered this. I managed to join late 25 minutes. So, do we cover networking in GCP? Okay. Yes. I'll take this. So, I won't say no because if this
Yeah,
is a question coming in.
you just answered
Okay.
that the question. You just answered the question.
Okay. No. Okay. But okay. I'll just add this because we are covering. There's no harm in taking up your feedback. So, I will include GCP networking also in our DevOps so that we have a fair understanding when we are doing. I'll keep one or two sessions on the networking part also. Okay, taken a feedback from you guys, so it will help you. Yeah, I'll include networking in our uh, course. And coming to the prerequisite, there's no such prerequisite. Only one prerequisite is there. You need to come along with me and join this journey. And you should be open to learning, right? And you must ask your doubts. Only these things are the prerequisites. Rest, I guess, I will be able to help you in this journey. Only is you come along and you have that flexibility of learning and asking questions. Then only it will be a two-way process. This is the only prerequisite. Any other question, guys? Or else we will wrap up for today. And I guess hope we meet soon when we start our batch. And for the syllabus, you can reach out to Visualpath admin people. They'll share it. We will tweak it a bit right? But yes, they can give you for now. And as discussed, we will include networking, GCP networking, as well as uh, GitLab CI will be used for our uh, CI, CI/CD tool, right? Along with GCP Cloud Build. Okay. Do you have any other question, guys? Or else we will be ready to drop off.
Yeah, hello Akash. I was
Yeah.
asking, I mean, how much time it may take for us? I mean, because after the session we need to do the assignment and hands-on and everything because we have a day job. So, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
how much time usually? Again, it's very subjective, but in general, we have to take out of time from our day
Okay.
job and the other
I
things. So, you
understand.
think how much effort from yeah,
So
because
okay.
it looks like so many things to learn, right? From scripting to Linux to tools to cloud and so many things. So I'm just thinking how much.
Okay, so the course duration will be for 50 to 50 hours. Let's park it on that for now. 50 to 55 hours. But if you give, means it will be a 1 hour course every day, right? And generally, because we all are having our jobs, so it is a morning sessions we generally tend to follow. And yes, for your learnings, if you give me 1 hour in my sessions, and if you at least can, means to revise or do your side, at least if you give 45 to 30 minutes of your time when you are free in your day to just revise or do a bit of study or bit of your assignments, then I think you will be good to go. Means your I just only expect 1 hour with me, and half an hour to 45 minutes your lone time where you will not get distracted and you can focus on the things that we spoke on that day, right? I think 1 hour and 45 minutes is a very good time. And it should be means I do not want to sound very pokey to you, but what I also follow nowadays, because as I said, our learning never stops, so I also try to spend at least an hour every day to at least read new things or learn new things, right? So I also want you guys to come into that mode also, at least spend 45 minutes to 30 minutes also at least for yourself, where you at least read anything related to this, the technology that you're trying to learn or you're trying to move or build your career in. That will give you an upper edge, because you might think 30 minutes is a very less time in a day, but if you multiply that with 365, you can see the hours that you have spent on a particular tool or a technology, right? So I think that will make you stand out from the other people who are there, right? So Ye- that is what I I would like to tell. But yes, I cannot say whether you can give more than that time. That is up to you. But at least 30 to 45 minutes your alone time, where you can think and work on your assignments and revise or learn new things, read new things. Yeah, that is one thing.
So Akash, we'll have classes on Saturday, Sunday as well, or it will be Monday to Friday. So we will have roughly 2.5 months for duration total, right? 3 months.
Saturday, Sundays, we generally don't tend to, but that we have to check on my calendar as well as Visualpath how they are planning it. But likewise, if because we also want to give you some free time where you also can do your work, right? We cannot don't want to include you or involve you every day, right? So but that is a thing that we can that admin people will communicate to you, that what is the
Right.
time stamp that we are taking. And on that we are not yet decided on the, means whether we'll take weekends also. But yes, morning time is sure we are taking. Maybe it will be from 7 to 8 or 8 to 9. I think 7 to 8, something of that sort, IST hours. And each sessions are recorded, so even if you miss, you can go, they'll share you the recordings. You can go through them. If you have any doubts or any clarifications, we can solve in the next class. That's a good thing, I see. Okay. Because I already I think answered, because we have a day job. And yeah, any other question, guys, or else we'll park this session for now. And no. Okay then, thanks guys, it was very good talking to you, and let's meet catch up when we start the sessions, right? Thank you. Thanks a lot for your time. Bye
Thank you
bye.
so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye bye.